I thought I had a link to this document somewhere here, but, oh, right there. You ready? So if you, let me just make this a little smaller, and if you just hit that with your camera, let's see where it takes you. While you bring your camera up, it brings you to this outline. So I had that set up. So just hit that with your camera, or go right to bit.ly/Fresno-AI. And hitting that with your camera will take you to this document, so you have access to this document. Yeah, so go ahead and do that. Anybody need it still, or we got it? All right, well, you guys are super to be commended. You're hanging in there for the last hour. And we're going to look at Claude Cowork here and setting up a project. And were you the individual who gave the example of searching for a job? Are you currently looking for a job? It's your choice. I mean, I'm always open to a job, right? Like, you know, how much? What am I going to do? Right? So. Okay. And do you have a LinkedIn? Do you mind participating in this example? Yes. And what's your LinkedIn? Laura. What's the last name? Hernandez. And Fresno. There might be a few results there. Is CSU, student CSU Fresno? No? Do you see you there? You see it further down? No, up with me, just type Laura Hernandez right now. Oh. EL? And 2 words? Okay. And is that you right there? Those are LinkedIn. Laura Hernandez Ringel. And do you see this one? That's you? Okay, cool. And so what we're going to do here with Cowork is Laura has graciously agreed on the spot, she could have said no, to help me serve as an example. And she, you know, like any good American, is totally open to working for somebody else if they pay him $1 million a year and, you know, the work conditions are right. We're all always open to that. But we're gonna take a look here and just see some applied stuff of using AI and searching for jobs. We're going to use Claude Cowork to do that and create a project and also maybe create some agents. And so to do that, I'm going to start out. And this is all being recorded. So somehow or another, I'll find a way to put this onto, you know, video somewhere, YouTube, and send you a link to it. So you could just relax and take a breath, everybody. There's nothing to have to memorize. You could just watch it anyway, because I'm going to go maybe just a little bit quicker and not always if you're trying to take notes while you're capturing step 1, I'll be doing step 2, and then you'll finish capturing 1 and I'll be on 3, and you'll be like, what happened on 2? So it's being recorded. So here we go. So I'm just going to copy some stuff and go to Gemini. And at Gemini, I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to go to Claude. And notice even that little decision right there in my head, right? Like, do I want to go to Gemini or do I want to go to Claude? I'm going to Claude, and the criteria I used was because I'm going to set this up in Claude Cowork. And you saw at the beginning of the workshop, Claude Cowork Desktop is something you could download and install. So maybe this is it. You know, download for Mac right here. So I could download this and install it on my machine. And when it's downloaded and installed, you'll see it right here. And by the way, at any point, if the volume is not good, if you're having a hard time hearing, just let me know, like maybe I'm not talking correctly, the right distance from the mic or whatever. So you get that installed, and I'm starting out at Claude and say, I want to help my friend look for a job. I'm going to set this up as a project in Claude Cowork, desktop, and what I want to create here, this is my goal, right? So modeling a little bit of that, making that bold and capitalized. I want to have you give me the description for the Claude Cowork project and also the instructions. I am going to copy paste info about my friend Laura beneath the heading info about Laura. And then I'm just going to copy this, Control C, and put that there. And so I'm going to copy paste info from LinkedIn about my friend Laura beneath the heading info about Laura. Use that info to create a document about her professional experience. I want the Cowork project to generate a custom resume and letter for every job application. I will copy paste the job application details into a task. So this is like a word, you have a project in Cowork. So if I show you this, here I have a project, which is the idea engine. Here's where I would have a task. Normally we would just say, hey, this is a prompt box where we put our prompt, but in Cowork we call that a task. And I'm going to copy paste the job application details into a task, then ask for a cover letter and resume to be generated. I also want to track the status of all job applications. I want to set follow-up reminders for every job application also, so that I am reminded to tell Laura to send an email 1 week after each application. Please add anything else into the instructions to create this project, or create any other files that I would add to this project, which will help Laura get a job, a better job. And I'm going to come up here and just do context. FYI, Claude, this is an example that I am doing in a class, but run it for real as a real project, prompts, etc. And know that at the end I am going to delete all of this, so do not store any of this in your memory about me, right? And then I'll just put a little divider, and these aren't like codified ways that you have to communicate with a prompt. I'm just communicating with this thing like a human, like I might email a friend or an employee that I employ. Okay, here's the beginning part, a little divider thing. I'm just adding that, right? And I read this like this as a human, and the machine's going to read it like a human, artificial. And but this idea of just having that conversation is what we're learning. And so there is kind of the beginning. I think about what documents need to be in the project, such as a spreadsheet to track applications, follow-ups, communications, such as a file to keep and track, and add to Laura's qualifications, etc. Then add those documents. So you can see here we're taking like a bigger step. You know, we've been talking about prompting, and now we're talking about a project. Prompting is kind of like a standalone thing. I'm just going to run this little thing. But then you end up with stuff like this. And, you know, it's just like a whole bunch of prompts along the side. And they're not kind of organized by some project, which is why they call it a project, some project that I'm working on. And so this project here is about my friend Laura searching for work. And I'm starting out just at normal Claude having a chat. And the chat I'm having here with Claude, this AI called Claude, this LLM called Claude, this chat bot called Claude, right? All those phrases, LLM, AI, chatbot, are interchangeable. This conversation that I'm having with Claude is about setting up a project. So I'm working with Claude just in the chat with a prompt to set up a project. And I'm starting at Claude because I don't have the project yet. Let me start with Claude to do the work of setting up the project, you know, in Claude. And so I need to now copy in information about Laura. And so I'm going to go here and I'm just going to like, you know, I could do this. I'm going to screenshot that and drag it over. Oops, that's not it. I'm going to screenshot that again and drag and drop. And I'm going to just scroll down and screenshot again and drag and drop. And then just come back over here. And I got her experience. I got to like that part. I'm going to screenshot that. And I'm just going to put here, see screenshots attached, actually. And then I'm going to scroll down here and get this one. She likes to volunteer. Look at that. And I'm going to hit back. And then community outreach skills. I'm just going to see if there's anything here. So like maybe I'll just copy these. These are easy enough to copy. And I'll put those down here. Right, put that there. And then courses and awards and honors. And organizations. And interests. So I think that's pretty good. And I'm happy to see that you got a pretty current LinkedIn profile. And this is something that's important in the workforce today. And for people who don't have one yet, because I do come across people, I'm like, oh, what's going on with your LinkedIn? You could use AI to help you improve your LinkedIn, help you improve your description and all that stuff. So I think we have everything we need here. So now I have a choice. And my choices here are like, what are those choices, right? These are like older models. Maybe you could ask AI. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. You could ask AI. I know a little bit. I sound like Trump. I know a little bit. I don't know everything. But what I do know is everything you need to know. It's the best. I know what you need to know. Nobody knows as much as I know. It's better than most people. I think our country has a problem in that we've become so ideologically polarized that we no longer see the positives and negatives of everyone, and we really need to do that, right? Because there's wonderful things about all people, and all people also have room for improvement, right? So I love a lot of stuff about everybody. I'm not allowed to speak politically. But here we go. See, it gets weird. It's like a forbidden topic in our culture. We got these different models, and you can choose different models. This is the very best model, okay? And it's going to burn the most tokens, right? So if I go to the very best model, and I go to effort max, theoretically, I'm going to get the very best results. I'm also going to burn the most tokens. If I go back to a previous model, and then I back it off of max and just go high, right? Like, I'll get good enough results, and I'm not going to burn as many tokens. And so max effort with like Fable is going to do all the work, and then it's also going to launch a couple of agents to check all of the work, right? And it's the best processing. So I think Opus 4.8 high is good. And you could come in here and you could say, okay, how much have I burned? And you could look into your usage, and you could see my current session, I've only used 3% in this first chunk of time, right? And all models, I've used 21% until Thursday at 4. And with Fable, I've used 40% until Thursday at 4. So I've got 60% of usage left on Fable. And so, Sunday when it was Friday, or it was Thursday. I was like burning tokens Thursday morning. I was telling my wife, I'm burning tokens. She's like, what? All right, so I'm going to send this. I think we're ready to go. How many people find this interesting? Show of hands. Good. I love it when I get the comp sci students raising their hands.
I noticed you clicked on chat, though. On the bottom, you just left it.
On what? This little plus thing? Right here?
There's 2 options to send it as is or to use forward. Over there.
Right here? Yeah, chat's fine. I don't know what happens if I do co-work here, give Claude a task or a few to run autonomously. I haven't played with that. You play with it and update me. So now it's doing some thinking about Laura. I could have also put in a link, or maybe Laura could have had other pages, or maybe she has some YouTube videos. Oh, I want to show you a YouTube video. You ready? Okay, so here we go.
Thank you, Todd McLeod.
Thank you.
This dude here, Obena, is one of my students. He's an online student. That's not the best picture of him. Let's get back.
Thank you, Todd.
There we go, that's better. And he lives in Nigeria. He's looking for work, okay? And he's on Upwork, and he could do like business stuff, office stuff, follow up. You can look at his profile, but if anybody needs some stuff done, call people, cold calls, look for customers. Like all this stuff can be done remotely. His wages are Nigerian wages. They're going to be less than U.S. wages, but he needs work, and he's reached out to me. I'm like, dude, I'll see what I can do. This is me seeing what I can do. So if anybody here needs something done, come to me afterwards, and you think, oh, I'll try that guy out. Try him out for a couple hours. Whatever his rate is, $15 an hour, right? And see what he could get done for you. He'd be over the moon to know that I talked about him at this little workshop and that I got him a job or connected with somebody. Yeah, he's in Nigeria. I've taught students on Udemy. I've taught 580,000 students around the world. And so I've had students in every country take my classes, and then, some of them reach out, and we just naturally communicate, email back and forth. Obviously, with 580,000, most of them, I don't have that connection, but a few students I've created a friendship with. And I did this video where I was asked to be in a video, and they said, we want some of your former students, a video about the power of education to transform lives. They said, we want some of your former students to speak. And so he was one of the students. I was like, hey, Obina, you want to be in the video? He's like, yeah, totally. So if anybody needs some stuff done, connect with me afterwards. All right, let's see how things are going with Laura. So it's still doing stuff for Laura here, and it's doing the work, right? And this is actually one of my favorite things about using AI is I get to create, I get to be the executive, the CEO, I get to tell these AI employees, go do that. And And then I get to sit back in my, executive suite, which is actually my living room, and watch a YouTube video why these things work. And I come back and I look at their work, and I'm like, adjust it this way, right? And it can change it. So it's doing the work. I am cold in here. I should have brought a jacket, dude. The coldest time in Fresno, the coldest season of the year is summer. Like you go in Trader Joe's or something, or that ice box at Costco, that's the worst. It's just like so cold. Oh, I don't. What was it? I have some. Yeah, I've heard that. Mark Twain has some good quotes. Is he the one who said, never let school interfere with your education? I like that one too. All right, so it's still working. Yeah. I'm sorry. Say it again.
When you were setting up contacts in question, could you use an IP address rather than?
Yeah, for sure. I might be able to just drop the URL in there, copy paste the URL to the LinkedIn profile and say, go do this. That might work well. I might be working in an outdated old man fashion. Put the URL in. So yeah, you can amazing people to totally do that. So that's a good point. And there's not an optimal way to do something. You just want to do something, And some things will be optimal and some won't. And, that's the experimentation. And then those are habits we have to learn to break. Like, let me just put the URL in and see if it gets it. So it's like, doing cover letter, 1 week follow-up email, thank you, reference request. I don't know what it's doing. Like, go do the work, genius. I'll be here watching YouTube videos.
Out of curiosity, I know that sometimes a lot of younger generations always say, oh, I applied to 100 jobs, and all I needed to do was go to this website, and it sent out my resume to all this. Is that true?
Yeah, so that's where somebody's created a service. We're doing these steps manually, and somebody created a service where they could go to a website that's automated this entire process that we're putting together with Claude, and for sure it's true. And we're going to see this Claude, this in action right here. But hey, that's a great idea, and charge people, but that's, yeah, so perfect. All right, let's see if it's done. It did a bunch of stuff. And here we have a bunch of files. And it's previewing one of the files there. So it gave a cover letter and email templates, Laura master profile, Laura Hernandez base resume, job application tracker, and then there's a prompt here. And, there's no markdown, but they did do capitalization. So here are the project instructions, and here's the project description. And the 4 files add all to the project are here. Okay, I know what to do now, okay? Let me show you. So I'm going to go to Claude. I'm going to go to projects, and I'm going to choose new project. And here in this new project is, what are you working on? I'm just going to add a folder. So I'm going to come back over to my folders and Finder. And in, I don't know, I'll put it on my documents and close this. And I'm just going to create a new folder, call it Claude, and I just do that to kind of keep all my Claude projects together. Laura example, and then here I'm just going to add this folder. There's many roads to the same destination, so I'm going to choose a different folder. So I could go through that little dialogue there, but this is the route I like to do. So here's the Laura example. I'm going to open that, and before I give it access, I'm going to grab these files here. And I'm going to download job application and Laura Hernandez and master profile and those templates. I think I'll just go with that. I'm going to do always allow and see what happens. So now there's that. I need the instructions. So it gave me the instructions. So here are the instructions. And I'm going to copy that and then put the instructions in there. And then here I could add files. And so I'll get these files we downloaded. And they are Laura, job, and cover letter. I think those are the 4. It's not going to be drip controllers, flight. No, those are it. Here we go. Boop, boop. So I've added those, and I'm just going to create it. And so now we've got Laura example, and I could come up here and choose edit details. I'm going to add that description it gave me. And here is the description, and put it in. And what that description says is, job search assistant for Laura Hernandez Rain, bilingual workforce development and public policy professional in Visalia. This project generates tailored resume and cover letter for each job application, tracks every application, and status, logs communications, and manages 1-week follow-up reminders. The source of truth for Laura's background is Laura Master Profile, MDI, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Source of truth means like where's stuff at. I just set up this project and realized I also want the project to find potential jobs for Laura to apply for. Do I need to change the project description and instructions? If so, give create, change them, and give me the updated files with changes. If needed, create, because here I don't think I had a project description. I don't have as a file project description or project instructions. Needed, create, even if we don't need to change the description or instructions, create files for the product description and instructions so that we can track them easily here in this project. Does this make sense? If you have questions for clarification or suggestions for improvement, let me know. All right, so notice there I'm availing myself to being guided, right? Like, hey, if you can make this better, let me know, right? And I'm not going to go with Fable Max. I'll go with 4.8, and I think that effort high is going to be good enough. And I'm just going to hit Start Task. And so now we could go over and look at this folder and see if anything got added to this folder. And so here is the Laura example. And when I added those files at the beginning, it put those files here. And this software has read-write access now to this folder. Okay, it has read-write access. And so it could create files there, delete files, create folders, manage files. So now it's starting to manage the whole project. And in addition to what's in here, there's also like in the infrastructure of Claude running on my desktop, files it's creating behind the scenes to help it optimize and do what it does and process information and respond to questions. And so those are getting created at a level that I don't see typically as a user. And so now it's asking me some questions, right? Like, you know, it says, I'll ground my answer in your actual project files, then share what I recommend. This makes complete sense. And yes, adding a job finding capability means the instructions should be extended. The description is worth a small tweak too. One note up front, I can't directly edit the project's description. Those live in the Claude project settings. What I can do is give you a clean, ready to paste files for both, shared into your project folder so they're tracked right here. You'd copy in the settings. Before I write them, a few decisions. How should I source jobs for Laura? Government job boards, LinkedIn, workforce boards, general web search, and I think that's good, right? Something else, I'll also check that and say whatever you think is best. You make the determination, okay? And two, when should job finding run? I could do a schedule scan and run this every morning, right? So when I wake up, here are 3 more jobs for me to apply for, you know? But I'll do on demand because I don't want to add that to my calendar. And in the calendar inside Claude Cowork, how should found jobs be tracked? New prospects tab, short list in chat, straight to applications. I don't know. I'm going to just say what do you think is best and why? What do you think is best? Choose that and also let me know why. So this is a really important skill in life, right? What do they call that in psychology where it's like do you want white or do you want black? Like they give you, what is it?
Freudian slip.
I don't know, Freudian slip, that's not it. But, when they just gives you like certain choices, assumptive close, they call it the assumptive close, right? The assumptive close, how many people have heard that? Do you want to buy it now? Do you want to buy it for cash or do you want to finance it? Do you want the white car or the black car? I don't care which one you take. Both options work for me. I'm selling you a car. Right? It's not do you want the car, which is yes or no. It's do you want the white one or the black one? It's the assumptive close. And so here it's gave me 3 choices. But notice like to be a free thinker, independent thinker, find your best solutions, you have to say, well, maybe the choice I want isn't white or black. It's something altogether different. Right? And so that's what so the point of that is to make sure you think what I want to tell it, what I want it to do. So now I'm just going to hit go. And if I have the app on my phone will notify me when, this is done running. And they're working on a new thing called Dispatch, where I could set this up at home, I could get it running, I could go out with my kids, my wife, I go to the park, we could go to lunch. And then Dispatch will tell me, hey, we need your input. And at lunch, I could bring it up and do a couple of things. And then my computer at home will get the responses, and it'll keep working, right? And then we're walking from lunch to the movie theater or whatever, and I can be like, now I want you to check this, run. I go into the movies, right? And then my phone will vibrate, and in the movies, I'll be like, oh, okay, these things, keep going. And my computer at home is continuing to do the work, and via my mobile phone, tell me, what I need to know to keep the process going. That's kind of cool. That's Dispatch right there. So got it. For tracking jobs, I'm going with New Prospects tab in the tracker. Here's why. It gives a persistent, deduplicated record so we never resurface or accidentally reapply to the same posting. Keeps raw leads separate from real applications. Right, blah, 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 this is awesome. So your application tab, dashboard metrics stay meaningful, and it creates a natural approval gate. You pick which leads are worth the effort before I spend time tailoring the resume and cover letter. Approved prospects then get promoted into applications. Let me set up and write the 2 tracked governance files. Okay, sounds good. Go do your thing. I'll be here in my executive suite watching YouTube videos. And by that, I mean I'm the executive, I'm the CEO. I'm telling what to go do work, and then I'm like managing, right? Managing it. And so if I look over here, now there's 2 more files it created. And notice those files have MD extensions, and MD stands for Markdown. So if I open these files up, they open up, and you can see here they're in Markdown, right? So even Claude, left to its own devices, outputs stuff into Markdown without me asking, right? That's how it's organizing stuff. So now we got those 2 new things, and the Prospects tab doesn't physically exist yet. The instruction referenced it, but I didn't touch your tracker without asking. Want me to add the Prospects tab so it's ready for the first search? Yes, do it. All right. So now in the Excel spreadsheet, it's adding another tab to the spreadsheet of potential jobs to apply for. And you can see where this is going and how powerful it is. Because I can now when I wake up, see new jobs to apply for. And I could say apply for 1, 3, and 7, and it'll generate the cover letters and resumes. And it can be connected to my Gmail, right? And then it'll ping my phone, say, these are ready to go, and I'll review them and say, edit, edit, edit here, send, 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 and it'll send them for me. With my resume tailored to that exact position, the cover letter tailored to that exact position. Because when a position comes up, it's like, we need X, Y, and Z. They don't want somebody, they're not going to hire somebody who says, well, I have A, B, C, X. They want somebody with a cover letter that says, I have X, Y, Z. And they want a resume that shows, oh, they have X, Y, Z. You really have to tailor your cover letter and resume for every specific job. And this just does it automatically, based upon your background, your qualifications, your experience, your education. And so now what is it asking me? Which role types should I target for Laura? I don't know, what do you want, Laura? Leadership? Yeah. Cocktail martini lunches, higher salaries? You know, program manager, grants administrator, analyst, any of those? No? Let's go C-suite. And Central Valley, on-site, hybrid in region. You want fully remote, open to relocation, Laura? Hawaii, $1 million a year? Okay. And what's Laura's minimum acceptable salary? I'm going to do 120. Okay, plus, okay. And which sectors are in scope? You know, whatever. You know, there we go. All right, so that's, you know, you see where it's going, and I could work at this for the rest of the day, and Laura could be applied, you know, by 5 o'clock. Great materials. She could be applied to every potential possible job that's available to her in the Central Valley, in California, in Hawaii, you know, and then it will every day apply to anything new that comes up. And in 1 year, Laura could just do this as a hobby, and in 1 year, she might be in a job that pays twice as much on Oahu, right? Because she came to this workshop and learned how to use AI. In which case, you owe me lunch. And everybody here.
Question.
Yeah.
Tokens. How many tokens you use to this? What is the cost of these tokens?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't, there's not a way that you could see like, oh, I burned this many tokens doing this. I pay an insane amount of money right now because I'm just burning so many tokens, but I pay like the max you could pay on a plan basis at Claude, and I find it's worth it right now. For 2 months, I've been paying $200 a month, and before that I was paying $100 a month, and then, you know, I'll probably back it off. But right now I'm just doing a lot of stuff, so I'm just like very curious about it. And I did some experiments where I had it build basically what would be like writing 3 books, and it cost, in hard token cost, somewhere between $20 and $65 to write 3 books. That's cool. You know, like I'll pay $65 for 3 books, and that's at Fable 5 Ultra Code Max. Like that's like the fastest you could burn, the best of the best frontier models right now. So $65. So the next thing I want to show you is down here you could click on design, and Claude has design. So we're done with the Laura thing. I'm done with the Laura example. Thank you. Here in design, you could click on design, and you could click on design, and in here you could have it start to design. Is the design guy still here? Cool. You could have it design slides, documents, wireframes, animations, prototypes, landing pages, presentation decks. Did I say websites? You could do websites in here. And the designs are really nice, but you know, you should just come in and play with it. if you need a new website. Just say, build me a website. And give it, or go to Claude first. Go to Claude first, just, at the web, Claude, and say, I want to build a new website using Claude Design. So that's what this would look like. I want to build a new website using Claude Design. All right. And you might create a project first for this, and then the project, you'd ask the project to give you a prompt to give to Claude Design. All right. And the project, this would set up the project, and then the project would ask you questions. What are you trying to accomplish? Should we do some market research? What are best practices in this field, in this area? Right? And then it'd create the prompt to give to the design. And the website that's created would then maybe have done research to capture the voice of the customer and to use the pain points of the customer that your service business is trying to solve. Use the pain points of the customer and their exact wording that's most common on Reddit and other forums. And that will then be built into your website, so your website really speaks to and resonates with your customers because you're speaking to their pain in their voice, and you solve it, right? And you went through that step to build the website. You weren't just like, build me a website. You're like, I want to set up a project. I want to do that research. Now that I've done it, create the prompt to put into Claude Design. And that's a really valuable process. The entrepreneurship, Tang, president of the Entrepreneurship Club at Fresno State. So that's Claude Design.